Hello students, welcome back to your history class. We have completed chapter 7, Changing Cultural Traditions, and I had told you all to group these famous Renaissance personalities according to scientists, literature, uh, etc. So today, first I'm going to mark the ones. After that, we will start talking about their achievements. Okay. So we have writers, that is Dante is a writer, Petrarch, the writer, Thomas More, and Erasmus. Okay. Then we have painters. The Renaissance painters are Leonardo da Vinci. Then you have Michelangelo, Raphael. So these are painters. Okay, and etc. Then you have the scientists. In scientists, we will have the Copernicus, we will have Galileo. Newton is not in this list, so Newton also falls here, and Vesalius. Then we have some of the others as scholars and stuff. So the rest I will mark them as in when I'm teaching them. Okay. Gustavo Petrarch, we know he was a writer. So he was a great, he was also a poet. So he was a great Renaissance poet of Italy. He is also called the first humanist. He was a great lover of classical Latin, and he did much to interest men anew in the works of Virgil, Cicero, Livy, and other Roman writers. So he did a lot to interest the men anew in the works of Virgil, Cicero, Livy, and other Roman writers. Okay, the next is Raphael. Raphael was also a great artist of the Renaissance period in Italy. Like Michelangelo, he was also a versatile genius. He was a renowned painter, poet, sculptor, and architect all in one. So he was a painter, he was also a poet, he was a sculptor, and he was an architect, all of them in one. His paintings, Madonna, is also very famous. Its beauty of composition and its lifelike charm have made it one of the most outstanding paintings in the world. This is the painting Madonna by Raphael. Its beauty of composition and its lifelike charm have made it one of the most outstanding paintings in the world. There are many more Madonnas. You can see this is Madonna in the meadow. Next is Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci was a great Renaissance painter. His paintings, The Last Supper and Mona Lisa, are still admired. They are masterpieces of art. They show his mastery in color, shade, light, and background. They are matchless in revealing inner beauty and grace. In fact, Leonardo was a man of multiple talents. He was a poet, a singer, a painter, a sculptor, philosopher, scientist, and engineer, all in one. Next is Michelangelo. Michelangelo was a great Renaissance artist. He was a versatile genius. He was a painter, a sculptor, and a poet. He was famous for his remarkable frescoes of ceiling of the famous Sistine Chapel. His creations, The Last Judgment and The Fall of Man are considered the masterpieces of art. These paintings give intense interpretation to human life. Next is Galileo. He was an Italian scientist and an inventor. He discovered several astronomical truths by looking through his telescope, which he himself had invented. Galileo was not only an astronomer but also a great physicist. Aristotle believed that heavier bodies fall a rapid speed than those of lighter bodies. Galileo challenged his theory and proved that the speed of falling bodies depends upon the distance and not on weight. He also invented thermometer and hydrostatic balance, and he laid the foundation of modern dynamics. Then is Copernicus. He was the first European scientist to discover that the Earth rotates upon its axis and revolves around the Sun. This was contrary to the contemporary Christian beliefs, and so he had to suffer at the hands of the Catholic Church. The religious scholars could not accept his new theory because it did not agree with the Bible. But his theory was accepted by Galileo, the Italian scientist and scholar. He actually saw the sun, the stars, and the planets through his telescope. Oh, Harvey. Harvey is a scholar. Harvey, he was one of the Renaissance scholars who, by making careful observations and experiments with animals, discovered how the blood moved in the body. His discovery corrected many past errors and led to a new approach in the study of health and disease. Vesalius, he was also a Renaissance scholar who, by the actual dis who by the actual dissection of the body gave correct information regarding the human body. And so it became easy to carry out the operations on the human body. Cervantes, he was also a Renaissance scholar who, in his novel Don Quixote, by name, made fun of the medieval knights and their ideas of chivalry. Thomas More, he was a great scholar of England and also a great writer of the Renaissance period. His literary masterpiece, Utopia, it ridicules the malpractices of the contemporary society. Machiavelli, he was a great historian of Florence. In his book, The Prince, he painted the picture of an imaginary state. This work it served as a guide for the ruler. Machiavelli is regarded as the father of the modern political science. Gutenberg, he was a German inventor of the Renaissance age. He invented the printing press. Martin Luther. Martin Luther was a German clergyman and one of the greatest exponents of the Protestant movement. He openly opposed the sale of indulgences by the papal agents. His efforts led to the founding of the Protestant religion and its subsequent progress. He himself went to Rome, but was much pained to find that neither Pope nor the monks were concerned with the spiritual side. On his return to Germany, he vehemently opposed the Catholic Church, and so he gave birth to the Protestant faith. Wycliffe, he was an English reformer and a professor at the Oxford University. He is commonly called the Morning Star of Reformation. He exposed the moral and the luxurious living of the clergy, and he condemned the interference of the Church in secular affairs. He did not consider Pope as the representative of God on earth. He directed the people to seek guidance from Bible and not from the immoral Pope and clergymen. For his revolutionary views, he was excommunicated from for his criticism of the church. Dante, he was the greatest among the Renaissance poets. In his epic poem, The Divine Comedy, he ridiculed the religious beliefs and practices of his age. It is said that Renaissance in Italy began with the publication of this book. This great work was not written in Latin, the classical language, but in Italian, the language of the people. No doubt this great work deals with religion, but it also abounds with human love, love of the country, and the desire to see a free and united Italian nation. Johann Huss. Johann Huss was a professor in the Prague University. As a follower of Johann Wycliffe, he translated his teachings and distributed them among the people. He advised the masses to return to the teachings of Bible and condemned the corrupt life of the Pope and the clergymen. He too was excommunicated, but the burnt but he burned the papal order. For this, Huss was also condemned as a heretic, and later on he was burnt alive. Francis Bacon, he was a great English scholar of the Renaissance age. He wrote several scholarly essays on topics of contemporary interest. He held the view that knowledge can be gained only by observation and experimentation. One should not accept anything without testing it. For holding such views, he no doubt had to spend some years of his life in the prisons of the church. Henry VIII. Henry VIII was the ruler of England from 1509 to 1547. He was instrumental in bringing the Reformation movement of England over the questions of divorcing his wife Catherine. He broke all the connections with the Pope when the Pope tried to put him off. In this connection, he got various acts passed by the Parliament. By the Act of Supremacy, he himself became the head of the state. By the Act of Appeal, he forbade the practice of sending appeals to the Pope from England. These were all the Renaissance personalities that we have to know about. I want you all to make short notes on each one of them and keep ready. Possible, stick a little picture of them in your notebooks as well. Besides listing out their reasons and their achievements for being famous. This much for this class. I'll see you next class. Till then, students, stay home, stay safe, take care, keep learning. Thank you.